Hey, this tutorial is for Kara and for her title page, where we're trying to create kind of a sense of type that is almost drifting away to C. So what I've done here is I've set up 3 layers where each layer has a different piece of type, and I labeled them pretty clearly here. So here's our first layer, second, and third. And the goal will be to make the first layer feel like it is closest to us and is like only slightly affected by the drifting of the ocean. The second will be a little farther away with more drifting, and the third further still. So that's the general idea. I'm making this up as I go, so let's see if I can accomplish this without any advanced practice here. So first I'm going to go to the first layer and click on that. I think if we do this wave filter here under under distort, and click down onto wave. This I did play with for a second before hitting record. So what I'm doing is essentially I think the key techniques to pay attention to are you want your vertical to be as low as possible here. The lowest number you can use is 1. And then we want our horizontal to be pretty low, but not all the way down to 1. The idea is that I think we want the water to have a little bit of a horizontal kind of waviness to it, but this first layer, because it's closest to us, we want that effect to be fairly subtle. You can check out these other numbers. You're certainly welcome to fine tune these, but these seem to be like fairly good. The other thing we're going to be playing with a lot is the number of generators, and a somewhat low number here I think is a good place to start as well. So for now I'm using 9. So we'll click OK on that, and you can see it gives it just a little bit of kind of irregularity, but nothing too dramatic. So now I'm going to click over to the second layer. I'm going to go back to the wave feature. The goal here is to increase the number of generators and the scale of the horizontal waviness. I wouldn't be surprised if we need to come through and fine tune the wavelength and amplitude, but I'm going to just kind of start here for now and click OK. You can see that's a little more dramatic. I'm not totally in love with the effect that that's creating, but I think we can probably get that to work a little bit better by playing with some of these amplitude numbers. We just don't want to go too far with it. Yeah, some of this stuff gets a little finicky, so as soon as you change a number just a little bit, it actually changes the effect pretty dramatically. So let's say that's a decent like intermediate point. And then we'll get into maybe playing with transparency and playing with blur as well. But for now, I'll just kind of move this aside a little bit. And last, we'll go to this third layer, and we'll kind of push it further off to the up and to the right. And now we'll go back to distort, wave, and I'm going to up the number of generators quite a bit. And I think we'll up the scale of the wave. In this little preview here, I'm feeling like I've maybe taken it too far. And again, we can kind of play with these other numbers to see if they get the effect right. I apologize if you can hear my kids in the background. Okay, I don't know. So let's just say this is, I don't love that either. Let's go back. So what I'm sensing is that you'll need to probably play with this a fair amount. Okay, let's pretend that's okay. It's not great. I think it's probably, there's going to be this little bit of a dance of how you can get the right amount of waviness without totally losing readability. I just feel like that's maybe taking a little bit too far. Let's tone some of this down just a bit. Okay, whatever. Let's just say that's good enough. I'm going to encourage you to kind of fine tune it more than what I'm doing because I'm just trying not to make this a hour long little demo video. So the next thing I think we can do is incrementally change the blurriness of each level. The first one I think we can keep pretty much just in full focus. The second one I'll go to blur, Gaussian blur, and use a somewhat low number. Click OK there, then go to the next. I'm not trying to make this look perfect. I'm just trying to kind of quickly demonstrate the steps and then allow you to kind of fine tune them more on your own. And then click OK there. And the next thing we would want to do is probably even play with either the opacity or play with the tonality of like whatever colors you're going to use. So let's just say this one's going to go down to 60%, and then I'll do this one at 80% so that we are doing a 20% incremental change on each one. Obviously, you can customize those numbers, but the idea, I think, comes across okay. We have something that feels closer with just a little bit of waviness. The second one is a little bit wavier still, and the third one even more wavy. That's the basic idea. I think, again, there's certainly ways of improving all of this, but I think that'll get you in the ballpark of what we're trying to do. I will continue to play with other filters and see how I can maybe improve the effectiveness of this kind of wavy thing that we're trying to do here. One other thing that is just occurring to me off the top of my head is the possibility of trying to do a little bit of a perspective change. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we could conceivably kind of alter the perspective of these to make it feel like they're actually drifting away and that the type is actually sitting on the surface of the water. So that could be something to consider, something to play with. I'm not definitely saying that it's like the perfect solution, but I'm just kind of throwing out things, spitballing a little bit as I'm kind of playing around here. So if you're trying to give the sense of a horizon and of a surface floating off into the distance, then maybe perspective comes in and helps enhance that effect a little bit. So there you go. If you have questions, just send them to me on Slack. Thanks.